with our zoning board meeting for tonight. As you can see, there's just three of us here tonight. And of course, Joe and John will be able to review videos and minutes for tonight's meeting, but if any of you applicants would prefer to wait for a full board, that's your option. Just let me know. And otherwise, we'll be glad to move forward. All right. So, hey, Tony. Hi. We do have a few decisions for tonight. The first one's on 19 Library Avenue. A couple of nice long hearings on that one, but the board does have a decision to approve those variances, to grant them. So I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and approve that decision as written.
Second.
Second by Jimmy and Dan.
Aye.
Okay. Good. The next one is 379 Dune Road. I don't think Mr. Gilmartin's here. No, but do we also have a decision written to approve that variance request? So I'll make a motion, we go ahead and just accept that variance as written.
Second.
Second by Dan, all in favor?
Aye.
And the next one we have is Oscar Tambito at 3 Mortimer Street. And again, we do have a written decision to approve that variance. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept that variance, that decision as written.
Second.
Second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Now, the next one we have is Michael and Paula Stoff at 8 Woodland Avenue. And we were supposed to have a decision on that tonight, and something happened.
This was a pool in the back, they had a small pool, and a larger pool,
Yes,
legal application.
it was just a 1%,
For, lot coverage.
yeah,
Because
1% lot coverage. Right.
the building permit application, the pool met the setback. On the zoning board application, I didn't see that the plot plan had changed, which is not atypical, because sometimes on the initial plot plan, it was hand done, and it's come to the zoning board, they're done by a professional. I didn't realize beforehand that it was 17 and change from the property line, not 20. And at the meeting, I was thinking maybe it was R4 and I had made a mistake. Tony was working on the determination, he asked me about it, and yeah, there was, I didn't catch that it was a change. It was not advertised for less than 20 feet. It is in the R2, so it's supposed to be 20 feet. So I contacted the applicant to ask about the discrepancy, if they wanted to just change the plan back to the 20 feet, or come and talk about it, reopening and re-advertising.
So,
Is that about right, Tony?
Yeah,
so where are we?
And the applicant is here tonight, so in case you want to talk to him.
Well,
so,
are we gonna move it back to the 20 feet, or are we gonna have to re-advertise? Because you're gonna need a side yard set variance.
yeah,
That-
so you can't approve the variance for the setback.
Mhm.
And it also probably, I don't think it makes sense for you to decide the other variance because they kind of might be looked at together. So it's up to the applicant if they don't want to move the pool to the 20-foot setback. I think the only real choice would be to reopen the hearing, re-advertise it. Brad would give them a new turn down letter and re-advertise it
Mhm.
with both variances and have them present that application.
Gotcha.
Yes, my name is Richard Warden, and I represent the applicant, or the owner rather, and there was a misunderstanding on my part with the owner that he wanted to basically encroach on the setback as well as the area coverage issue. And so I, at this point, I think he would probably like to go ahead and reopen the issue, re-advertise.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if there's an additional fee for the setback requirement, or is that an issue as well? or-
We could do a re-advertising fee, but I'm not concerned about that, we just have to get it right. Because I missed it with the ZBA applications.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it's possible for me to speak with him while we're going through different projects and just clarify one more time with him that he would like to do that, because, you know, the time involved
You
with
mean to
everything.
your client?
Yes,
Yeah, we could do this at the end.
Okay.
If you want.
so I can give him a call and just
Yeah.
explain there'll be extra costs with re-advertising and, make sure he wants to go with it, so.
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and make sure he realizes, like, the first application, um, I mean, the board was sort of there.
Right,
You've now added a second variance, and they have to be looked at cumulatively.
so it's possible that, okay, just so I understand,
You might want to just tell them what could happen is that it's just turned down. both
right,
of
that's what
them.
I was gonna ask. If both these situations now are rejected, so then where are we in that type of situation? If both the area and the setback are rejected together as one application?
He could try to come back, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to speculate what the board would do. It's just that the options become, instead of it becoming an approval of it was a coverage, 1% coverage?
There's 1% coverage.
A 1% coverage, it's
Right.
then, he'd be asking for a 3-foot
3 feet.
setback variance
Right.
where it appears that there's at least room to put it in a conforming location. So
Right.
just
So it's
explain that it is gonna
Self-imposed hardship.
it's
so-
gonna reopen the process,
Right.
and maybe it's not worth it, but
Right.
that's up to him. Like, I don't,
Right, right.
so at least talk to him about whether he wants, because we were there, we were at the point of giving a decision and when this
Right.
was figured out, so.
Yeah, I understand. So, all right, so, yeah, if I could speak with him and then, you know.
Absolutely. We'll-
Okay,
we'll
okay,
s-
thank you, appreciate
We'll
it.
slip you right in. All right.
Makes sense, Jerry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. The area variance was, no biggie, but all of a sudden it changes a little bit. Okay, so we have a request to hear the 30 Hazelwood first. So let's do that, okay? Number 5 on our sheet here. Marauder, 30 Hazelwood Avenue. And, just so we know, and I did speak to Will and also Tony, I had originally recused myself from this hearing because I had some dealings with your attorney. I'm very comfortable now going forward with it, and as long as you still are, we'll go forward with that tonight, all right? Will?
Yeah, I am, and I spoke to my client about that as well, and we're
Good.
comfortable with it.
Excellent.
Thank
So-
you
so
also
for-
for accommodating my request. I'm on short time tonight because of the babysitter, so thank you for hearing us first.
So Jerry,
Yes.
before you start, just for the record, make sure the minutes reflect, he's unrecusing himself, and the applicants are aware of it and have no objection to that, right?
Correct.
Bill?
Yes, correct.
So I'm back in the game, right?
You're back in the game.
All right.
And we have a quorum because of it.
Yes.
because We wouldn't have a
Otherwise, we
quorum
yeah,
otherwise.
We wouldn't have a quorum otherwise, that's the other thing. Okay,
All right, we were here in November seeking a variance to legalize an accessory apartment and a detached garage at 30 Hazelwood. We had requested an adjournment in December, and we're back here now in January. Since the last hearing, we were able to put together some information to supplement our application. When we were here in November, we pointed out as part of the hardship factor, the cost to convert the garage back to, or the now apartment back to garage space. We got that number from Right Angle Constructions, Inc., and it came in just a hair under $37,000, and I have some copies of the quotes for the board members if you guys.
and what does that to do, Will?
This is to return the garage back to its original state. So right
Right.
now, it's currently the apartment which we're seeking to legalize. This would be the cost on the applicant, if I may. So you can see that the cost to bring this, to undo this work would be very significant and propose a very big hardship on the applicant. We also, as part of the application, we were seeking a variance on the permissible square footage, and we actually, after discussing it, we would be willing to get rid of, I think we were like, how many square feet? 55 square feet over. So we actually kind of did a very informal mock-up of the floor plans to remove the 55 square feet. We didn't want to engage a formal drawer to do this until the board indicated whether or not this would, I guess, for lack of a better word, move the needle for them. But we would be willing to get rid of the square footage in order to bring us to the permissible limit. And we would also, like I said, be willing to get properly drawn plans. We just didn't want to waste the money on hiring somebody to do that until we knew how this would be received. So I have something that's very rudimentary, but it at least shows an approximation of the square footage we'd be willing to get rid of. So that's kind of the progress we've made since the last hearing.
This would be eliminated?
Yeah, so the gray square would be returned to uninhabitable space, storage space.
By just putting a wall up?
We haven't really gotten that far. I mean, do you have any ideas of how you'd want to do that? You could just step up so that you can hear the mic.
That's essentially what it would be. It would just be putting a wall up to get rid of that area to satisfy the square footage.
Yeah, I can understand why you wouldn't want to involve an architect to do these drawings, but any approval of the variance would be contingent on you meeting that square footage requirement,
For sure.
Yeah.
okay?
And that's something you could work with Brad on, because there are ways of, I mean, if you turned it into storage space that's only accessed from the the exterior, it might be, just become another storage space for it.
Understood.
Better than just unused, yep.
Yeah, right, better than dead space, it could
Right.
probably theoretically be used as a storage space, right?
That's kind of a unique application, right? Because, I mean, I remember when the house was built, and, you know, it was going to be a garage with the attic space. So I don't think it was ever used as a garage, but it has existed now since 2007, I believe it was built. Am I right? That ballpark there? So, and I can tell you as a neighbor on that street, it doesn't have any adverse effect on anything. Not at all. I don't even know you're there, except for your dog.
Yeah.
Did you find him, by the way?
Yes, he's home.
I remember that night, yeah. But, yeah. All right, so I mean, I want to go through the five-way test as far as, you know, will it cause an adverse change to the environment? to
Yeah,
the
I mean,
neighborhood? It's been there for so long, I have to say no,
Nothing on the outside has changed.
yeah.
I would tend to agree with you, and that
you've
was our
established
position.
As far as the alternative goes, you know, it costs a lot of money to convert it back to a garage.
And then trying to find a place to live and pay that at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I think that looking at it is substantial because it was something that's really wasn't allowed at the time. But it doesn't create any adverse environmental. And then, of course, it's self-created, maybe not by you, but is Sal your father?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. But, there, I don't know, you have anything else to add to this, Will? Applicant, anything else?
Not today. I'd be interested to see how the board receives the information we presented tonight before I think we threw anything else at the problem.
I don't,
I appreciate you reducing the size of it to become conforming.
It's our pleasure. We're just trying to find a solution that meets the village's approval so that we
Right.
can keep this.
right, I don't think he wants to live in a tent in the backyard with the two
No.
dogs, huh?
Not
Brad,
until
do
the
you have
spring.
anything to add to this?
No, you just have to adjust the percentage, take the percentage of the 850 conforms to the overall square footage limit, but it's still gonna be over 35% of the house. You just have to get that number worked.
Okay, you got that, you'll have to work
Yeah,
all of
so-
that out?
With respect to what Mr. Hammond just said, I saw that in our application, and I have to check the numbers, and I'm not a smart enough man to do it this quickly to see how much reducing the square footage then would put us over. I think it's the 35% number, or whatever it is. I don't know if the village needs us to also hit that number, or if it's okay to be over that, so long as we're under the 850. I'd be looking for some guidance on that when the time is right.
Well, we kind of need to know that now, because it's a question of what you're asking them to
I understand.
approve. I mean, what's the delta?
It's 34%. So it looks, according to this plan, it says looks like you're just under the 35%.
So then that would be, all right, so,
I guess we're okay.
so I think what you're, let's clarify what you're asking for. I think you're asking for the variance to allow, the first part of the variance to allow the accessory apartment, but you're willing to comply with the size limits and make modifications necessary to do that.
Correct. So I think there were three requests. I don't think we need the latter two, so
Right.
long as we make that square footage adjustment. So it would just be the first request for the apartment.
Okay,
To check this, I can't quite read that numbers.
okay.
But I think if the board's okay with the 850, we can figure it out.
And this, figure out the size and make that conform, I think, I don't have anything else. Jimmy, you okay with this?
Good, yeah,
Yeah?
I'm good.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll have a decision next time,
Okay.
but I think we have everything we need for this hearing. So if you don't have anything else, anybody else have, Jimmy, anybody else have a comment on this? So then I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we close this hearing for a determination.
Second.
All right,
Thank you so much for your time tonight.
all right.
Thank you.
Mr. Hume, you had a request, well, you have a time constraint also, right? Okay. Is this 104 Main? Did you-
Yes,
Okay.
the last. For the applicant, James N. Hume, 323 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach. Good evening. I'm here on behalf of my client who owns the property at 104 Main Street, which is currently improved with two structures that contain commercial uses on the first floor and apartments on the second floor. He's seeking to add a 750 square foot building to the west side of the front building for retail purposes. We've had some preliminary discussions with the planning board about this. And I think it's safe to say that this proposal meets all of the zoning code dimensional requirements except for parking. And we had a series of discussions and a series of presentations to the planning board about various manners in which we could meet the parking requirement, which is 3 spots. And while we did have a plan that provided 2 of the 3 spots on the site, the planning board, and I don't know if you've discussed with them or seen any of their minutes, but they were concerned about these parking spots having to be backed out of. And in fact, we could only get at most 2, and so we would still need a variance for a third. But the various configurations that we developed would have required even additional variances for buffers and things of that nature. So it was kind of, well, I can't say agreed to or adopted by the planning board, but the sense of our discussion with them is that they would prefer not to see any parking improvement on the property and then to come to this board to seek the variance for the 3 spots that we're short. As you know, excuse me, as you know, this building is located on the main street. It's in the B1 district, which is primarily a district where people park publicly in front and in back, and then walk up and down the street and go into a restaurant, go into a shop, go into an office, something of that nature. It seems to me also that the addition of this retail space is the kind of development that the village was trying to encourage with the manner in which they renovated Main Street and provided the sewer, although this doesn't necessarily touch on that since it's not a wet use. But as I said, it just seems to be kind of where the village wanted to go with its Main Street. So the issue is the parking spots, and if we don't provide them, and I would say that my observation, perhaps you would agree, is that many, if not many, of the business uses on Main Street rely on the public parking, as there's not really much ability to provide parking on the site. Kind of timely, and I provided in the package, there was an article in the Southampton Press a month or so ago where the mayor and others were saying that there, despite the fact that everybody thinks there's a shortage of parking, there's actually available parking. And the one, excuse me, the one parking area that he talked about as being the least utilized is the Mill Road parking, and that's almost directly behind this particular building. So if in fact somebody was going to drive to the village to come to this place, they may very well park there. And if there truly is a excess of parking, even in the height of the summer, that would work out well, and I don't think be terribly impactful on the overall circumstances. So we are before you for that purpose, assuming that we can, in the event that the variance is granted, obviously we have to go back to the planning board and work out a whole bunch of other details, planning details, buffers, and there's a concern in the planning board about impacting the sidewalk that comes from Main Street back to the Village Park. But I think we can deal with all those issues if and when we get back to the planning board. But that's what we're here tonight for, is just those 3 spots.
So what are they actually doing?
I'm sorry?
What is the expansion going to be?
It's going to be a retail store.
Retail
I don't know if it's, I can't say that it's clothing or
Oh.
whatever, but the intent is to find a tenant who will operate in the retail space.
Is it gonna be separate or attached?
The building is going to be attached, but there will not be access from the office building to this. This addition will be accessed from a door in the front, and I believe there's a door in the back as well. But no direct access from one to the other.
The only thing I want to clarify as to what Jim said is when you say that the planning board preferred you to come to this board, they didn't express a preference, they just expressed that they were not in favor of the proposed, I'm going to say they weren't in favor of the proposed parking plan that had
Correct.
been presented. And so
And try as we might, we couldn't find a configuration that
yeah, I just don't want the board,
captured them.
I don't like the idea of that they were recommending this variance. They were not taking any position on the variance.
Correct,
Okay.
I agree with that.
Got it.
That's correct.
All righty. You're aware of what's going on with the parking, because you alluded to that already. You know,
Right.
the village is contemplating pretty much a moratorium on parking variances right
Well, they haven't done it yet.
now. So where would it leave us if they implement that in between now and our next meeting, our decision?
I'll have to talk to the mayor and make sure that doesn't happen. I don't know where that would leave you. I think that's a
Yeah.
question for
Yeah, well,
council.
I think
Unless
there
you
were-
want to close the
I
hearing
think-
and decide it tonight.
I agree with Jim, it hasn't happened yet. If it does, we'll have that
We'll cross that
conversation.
bridge?
Yes.
Okay, yes, Brad.
There's a lot, we did the parking study, this has been an ongoing concern. And I think, dry retail, the use that's going for, even though the use is before the board, I think it does matter when we talk about parking. It's the eateries, the restaurants, the food shops that have the people staying there longer, usually more staff. A retail space like this could be operated with one person, or an office, or different types of uses could have more people. So I think that is important. One can make the case that you have 4 or 5 retail shops along Main Street, people are, they're parking in the main lot, they're going to this shop, this shop, this shop, this shop. Per our code, all of those shops are supposed to provide on-site parking, but really, is that necessary when it's a Main Street kind of window shopping atmosphere? take what you will, just, I think it does matter if it's a 750 square foot vanilla space that may be, 16 seat eatery versus dry retail. I think those are two different animals, even though our parking might not call it out.
Okay, thank you. That's a good point. That's a good point.
It is, yeah.
Brad's making a good point for you.
He is, he did.
All right. Well, I think, I really don't have anything else on this. Pretty straightforward. Your application's pretty straightforward.
Yes, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
You guys have anything on that? No. Heather, anything?
I think we have a public hearing scheduled for,
Well, that's what I was asking about, because it looks, I think the public hearing is before our next meeting, but it's only 3 spots too, so I mean, it's not, and you make a good point about, it's not a restaurant that's gonna have,
I'm just thinking of his, he might want to show up at the public hearing.
Yes.
yeah, right?
Did you look for any, like, precedents on other board decisions? Because we don't get a lot of parking variance applications.
Not on Main Street. There were some that I was involved in years ago, but it was up on Riverhead Road, which was a completely different animal.
Yeah.
Because people would drive to that specific spot, whereas this is a Main Street park and stroll kind of thing. So.
Well,
Right across the street in Glover's, the Good, they have parking there.
Mhm.
And some back.
And Jim, just so you know, I mean, there was no, the reason the trustees are considering it is because there's many applications now, all of a sudden, that relate to this, and there may be an opportunity to create standards.
Mhm.
Might make it easier.
True.
Rather than hard. I'm not, so there's no suggestion that it's like targeting your,
No, I
Client in
didn't.
particular.
That's not my impression. My client may think that, but it's not my impression.
I don't
Well,
have anything else.
Even if they adopted something in February, I think it doesn't become effective until 30 days after the ordinance is filed with the state, and that would have to put us past the next meeting, so.
So, we may
we'll
have.
see, we'll see.
We'll see.
We may have something interesting.
Yes,
across that
or
bridge, huh?
maybe they'll make an exception for pending applications.
There are two moratoria being considered, not one that has to do with this board, but that also affects your
Mhm.
client's application. So
I'll take a
Um,
look.
it may be a Pyrrhic issue
True.
at that point,
True, true.
at least for a couple of years.
Well, I think from this perspective, all you can do is deliberate in the manner that you would deliberate.
Just have to go with what's in front of us,
Exactly.
right? Okay?
Yep.
Anything else? Anybody? Anything else? Okay, well, I guess if that's it, Jim, I'm gonna make a motion to close the hearing for decision.
Thank you very much.
Second by Danny, all in favor? Here.
Aye.
And, yeah, good luck with your.
Thank you. I have 2 other applications pending, but I've asked both of them to be
Yeah, well,
adjourned.
I'm gonna read those into the record, but that was the beach and Lakeway, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to our beginning. Making the holdovers on 149 Main Street, they're not happening, right?
They're not doing that. There's nothing.
Just indefinitely right now, we're still with that parking lot? All righty. So that's been held over. The 6 Lakeway, we have a request to hold that over for all purposes. I'm gonna make a motion that we do that. Second by Dan, all in favor?
Aye.
All righty, so let's see. Let's do the 409A Dune Road. Okay, the applicant seeks variances to legalize decks, resulting in a big building area lot coverage of 26%, where maximum is 20, and for an accessory deck located within the front and side yard where it's prohibited, and for 19735C for an accessory setback of 19.3 feet, where the minimum required is 20. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks, members of the board, for the opportunity to speak about this. So I know we were in here last month. And just to step back, what this application is about is the owner contacted us after his dad kind of moved out of the picture and left it to the children. He's still around. He's in Florida. But the current homeowner said, I know there are a bunch of things here that are not legit, and I want to correct them before I go forward with anything. So it was kind of unique in that he was a little bit ahead of the game in terms of getting in touch and saying, I want to get everything legit. The first thing was that he knew he had some floor level rooms that were built by his dad, who knows when, that he knew were not legitimate. So the way we started was we applied for an updated CO to get kind of a consultation from Brad and the staff to say, like, what are the issues here? We know there are a lot, but let's outline them. So we outlined the downstairs stuff. We got rid of all the ground floor bedrooms and habitable space. And then we got a survey to calculate lot coverage, because we knew that we were over lot coverage with expanded decks. So it's kind of a two-part thing in addressing the lot coverage, but also decks being built without permits, and also the pre-existing non-conforming front yard deck. So I know we addressed that. I unfortunately was not here. My associate Ashley was here last month to address those things. So we've gone back and looked at, we've got surveys that show that deck, the quote-unquote front yard deck that's pre-existing non-conforming, being there back in the 80s. So there's that part, and then the second part is the addition on the south side, which we have photos of neighboring properties that this is kind of par for the course on this little side street. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a flag lot.
There, yeah.
Yeah, so you've been, okay. So it's kind of the way things are done there, and the way the neighbors have had, you know, these decks kind of, in some cases, wrapped around the properties. So that's the nutshell of where we're at, and I wanted to see what else you would like to see. I know you just said you've been there, to kind of help support what Ben has there at the moment in terms of decks, front yard, pre-existing, non-conforming, and that little piece to the south to get up there.
So I think it was the south deck was what we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you have COs pre-existing non-conforming, but you have the COs for it. So we're just talking about the south deck,
Kinda like the crow's necks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
This stuff.
Yep, yep,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so the current owner, the son of the guy who did these things, he just wants to make it right, and kind of take your temperature on what you see as appropriate and what's not. Crow's nest, not important to him, if that's a sticking point. He said he'd be happy to get rid of that.
He said,
It's not out of line with what is around
where's
it,
the crow's
though.
nest on this?
So it's on the south side up high. It's above the roof.
yeah,
It's kind of like a roof deck, only it's not on the roof.
but there's that there.
Oh, I see. They just want to keep the south side deck. Get rid of that.
Do they
It's
have
basically-
this submitted, or is this newer?
It's kind of
Okay.
like, it's not even a deck, it's like a platform.
Yeah, just getting refreshed.
Yeah.
Okay. They see the corner of that, they want to keep the deck.
He's got that. Yeah, Ashley's got a really good comparison to the neighboring properties about what they have as well, in terms of
Yeah,
crow's
this has
nest.
all been included as part of your guys' initial packets as well.
We have all kinds of stuff.
So, we're looking for guidance. Like I said, this applicant came to us and said, I want to make things right. So he's looking to you for guidance on what you think is appropriate, and he wants to make everything legit.
Hey, Brad,
Jim, you have these, right?
is there like a,
No?
what is the pre-existing non-conforming
Yeah, can I pass these?
coverage?
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Do we know?
Previous non-conforming coverage, I think, was,
Take one for,
last time there was a question of what was pre-existing.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
survey
They have a
there.
survey, pre-existing, so I think they have that.
Okay.
Oh, what's-
Who was missing this? Were they here tonight?
Oh, right. Is it? Jim, in the minutes from last meeting, one of you was missing page 3. Was that you, Jim?
Great, thanks. Good memory.
I would say, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, both. Okay.
Now, you still need the same area variance request, is that correct?
Correct.
That hasn't changed?
Sure.
You're willing to give up the crow's neck, but you want to keep your south side deck stairway?
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah, because that's the means of access now. The stairs go up to that south side deck.
That's their main doorway?
Correct. Yep. So the stairs go up in an eastward fashion to the south side deck.
And all this, the decking and the stairs, that's what makes up the additional lot coverage. right?
Yeah,
There's no way you can trim that without taking that stuff down, is that? That's
Right.
why I'm looking at this, right?
Correct,
yeah, that's
You
right.
can't reduce lot coverage unless you rip out the decks
Correct.
Absolutely.
and stairs, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
which then would reposition the stairs to go up in a
Sure.
different,
And I think as you pointed out there, the homes along the lot are all have these decks,
Wraparound deck.
wraparound decks.
Yeah, one of the one across the street has
Yeah.
the crow's nest, a larger crow's nest at
Yeah.
that. So it's definitely within character of the surrounding
Sure.
lots, for sure.
This Pond Point, boy, huh?
yeah. It's cool little space.
I'll say. I'm just looking at this now. You need you need just a little over half a foot.
Yeah, really minimal.
Right, right, point, yeah.
Really minimal.
Right, that's pretty minimum. And then the deck that's located on the south side has to be improved for you to get. That's what we're looking for, the south side deck, the lot coverage, and then 7/10 of a foot.
Right.
Okay.
And the owner's gonna take down the crow's nest?
This, I mean, with the
Yeah,
numbers,
if,
like,
He's willing to do that?
yeah, he's willing to do that.
We'll have to look at that.
Yep.
that's where you get the 26.
See if
Oh,
that's-
okay, because that's what.
I mean, I just
where's
think,
that
you
number?
know,
It doesn't matter, because
and I know there's one across the street,
like, it's the same, like
just
this was added.
the,
on
from a
it.
privacy
So it's the
perspective.
19
For
from
sure.
previous.
I
and
wouldn't
I-
want
I
somebody
don't-
looking
I
at
don't
my
know if the
windows
neighbors
either.
was- yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
and
Dan.
safety.
No,
Wow.
and the applicant is,
Okay.
Yeah.
had said that to me. He's like,
You're
hey, it's not
confident the
important.
numbers in here
And
are
even
the
though it
numbers.
exists across, I know I'm working against myself, but it's,
Okay.
you're looking at
Thanks.
making things better progressively.
I was
So
like-
that at some point, maybe that other one comes down and
Mhm.
I get it.
Jimmy, you have anything else? No? Tony, you have anything to say on that? Brad, you have anything else to add? Okay, pretty straightforward, you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you don't have anything else to add, you wanna go ahead and, maybe wrap up the hearing?
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
great. Appreciate
Great,
it.
thank you. All right, so
you.
I'd like to make a motion that we close this,
Actually, I do have something.
oh, you do?
Yeah, Brian, you didn't identify yourself for the record.
Oh,
When you started your,
well, that's why I'm wearing
and
the
usually,
hat, so I can't be
usually
seen.
Megan yells at
Um,
people when they
yeah.
don't do that, but out of deference to you, she was very nice, so.
Brian Teeman for the applicant. Yeah, that's something like that.
Mhm.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
That's good.
And my associate Ashley Weedell.
Mhm.
You're too nice to me, Megan. You yell at everybody else.
I yell at him all day. She doesn't need to yell.
Okay.
I can't stand any more yelling.
Now that you've been scolded properly, we're going to make a motion that we close this hearing for decision.
Second.
Second by Jim. Dan, all in favor? Okay, thank you both very much.
Thank you all.
guys.
Thank you.
What am I up to now?
499.
Looks like number 6, right?
Uno más. Yeah.
All righty, 499 Dune Road. No? Oh, you guys are back, huh? Okay, 499 Dune Road.
We're back.
Applicant seeks variance for proposed front yard setback of 37.25 feet when the minimum required is 75 feet. Proposed additions which increase the floor area within the required side yard setbacks 12.67 feet and 13.75 feet. Proposed where 20 feet is required and representing a prohibited increase in the degree of nonconformity of a dwelling with pre-existing substandard side yard setbacks, 197.35C, and proposed front deck side yard setback of 11.75 feet where the minimum required is 20 feet, and also for 197.35C for proposed front entry deck side yard setback of 13.75 feet where the minimum required is 20 feet. All right,
You are?
let's take it from the top.
Brian Teeman for the applicant. And
Ashley Udell?
so our last meeting with you, we had two big takeaways. One was us providing a letter from the engineer certifying that the existing structure was capable of this proposed expansion and movement up, which we provided. And second was just getting back on the same page with the current plans, which unfortunately you didn't have a copy of the last time, which we brought in and updated so that you were looking at the correct plans for the second story. So we provided them. I hope you had enough time to take a look at them and the letter. And yeah, we hope we can move forward with this. We have to go to ARB next, so.
One of our members, Joe's not here tonight, but he was concerned with the, basically the structural integrity of the first floor.
Yeah.
You know, worried about you're gonna, looking to put an addition on here to the renovation. He's worried, expressed some concern that, you know, what if you have to take the whole thing down?
Right.
And no matter what happens here with this hearing, understand if that happens, you don't have a variance anymore,
That's right.
okay?
All bets are off, yeah.
All bets are off, well put, I like that.
Yep,
Okay, just so you know that going in, because there's just no way.
understood.
And, you know, not putting up, holding one wall up isn't gonna cut it either. you know,
Yeah,
right,
sometimes
okay?
that's-
Sometimes it, yeah,
Sometimes that's the game and sometimes it's not the game, but it's an unfortunate
okay, that's not gonna work here. But
consequence,
just wanna
yeah.
make that up front. You know, if that happens, you gotta take the house down
Go-
because of whatever structures.
Go back to
You
square
start taking it
one.
apart to go up.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Okay.
was a great point. And, you know, we got the letter to, you know, confirm that it's sound. But understood, you never know.
Right.
So, yeah,
Many years ago, we were down that road, you know.
I know,
and
yeah.
Somebody got a variance to do it, and they wound up taking the house down and starting from scratch, and it didn't fly, and it became a bit of a problem for them.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear up front before we even get into any more than meat and potatoes here.
Yeah,
Okay?
understood,
Good.
understood.
All righty, so I have the minutes here with it. You want to just go back over what you're doing? Just for the record, tell me, what are you just looking to go straight up pretty much, if I'm understanding and spending a few other things, so I want to go through each thing that you actually are requesting.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially, without overcomplicating it, we're going straight up. There are a few variations on it. Vince, you might want to speak to what that is in terms of second story cantilever that changes the setbacks. Footprint is not changing, it's setbacks on the second story. I'm not intimately familiar with the design of it. We had our architect here last time to speak to some of that. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight. But it's really not changing. It's not changing anything on the footprint, on the ground floor. It's just a different design that involves second story, I guess cantilever is probably the best way to say it. I think it's in the front, right, Vince? Well, I don't know if you want to come up, but, okay. So yeah, it's minimal.
Is on the front? Or is it on the sides? Because that's a big difference.
Yeah, good point. It's front, yeah, that's what my understanding is, yeah. I don't have the plans in front of me, unfortunately, but yeah, it's front.
I remember when we dealt with this, I think you're set back 80 feet from the crest of the northernmost dune with the house. I mean, so we appreciate that. And this board has always been more receptive to a front yard variance than rear.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
if the cantilever we're talking about is at the front, that's a lot easier to digest for the board.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
good point. Yes, it is.
When you're talking about the side yard setbacks, we like to maintain them as much as possible for obvious reasons.
Sure,
Right?
sure.
So,
Yep.
okay, so that was the front. Right, the front, that's the 37 and a quarter you're looking for, okay? The side yard setbacks, now, the side yard setbacks are pre-existing, you're not going out further on the top of that.
Correct. Not,
You're not.
we're not.
Going
That's
straight up.
correct. Yeah. The sides are straight, right? It's just
I didn't
that
have the
front
plans in front of me.
over
but
the, yeah.
that's-
Yeah.
Brad's saying yes, good. Okay, so let's talk about the front deck side yard setback. If you have side yard setback at 12.6 and 13.7, why is the front yard, side yard setback coming in at 11.75? Where are we at? It's part of your variance request.
Yeah,
I'm just reading
understood.
over here.
Let me check the plans.
The house is a bit of an angle compared to the property lines. So this front setback, it's already a deck, you walk up to the deck. The Opposing portion of the deck, so we set a new front yard setback. And then with that entry, there's a bit of an entry deck, but because the house is not parallel with the property line, it's slightly skewed, that deck comes closer than the 12 feet. On the other side, it doesn't get any closer than the side, the existing side yard setback. So they're just following the house, but because the house is slightly skewed to the property line, that's why it's 11.75 as opposed to.
What was it?
It's really just an entry landing, but it's slightly oversized, so we call it, anytime it's more than 3 feet, we call it out as a deck.
Call it as a deck, okay.
Good.
Can we just clarify, there was that issue, I feel like, about the lower level, right? There was one plan that called out to be finished, and then we've clarified that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, so, I mean, part of this is dealt with
Storage only.
from the application, but pre-existing house, and maybe there was finishes in the lower level.
Yeah.
To do a full second story, it's going to be what we call a substantial improvement, so the house would have to be made FEMA compliant, so the lower level would have to be reverted to only garage, storage space.
Right.
Very few finishes, so a bunch of the finishes would have to come out if there are any basement. But a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of this, it would be before the zoning board, but I wouldn't have to check that.
But they're not asking for a variance for it, I just want to clarify.
No,
'cause some,
Tony,
We talked
great
about that.
point. We talked about that last time, and the plans that were in front of this board were actually not up to date,
right,
and they still
Okay.
called out for finished, and then we delivered the
Mhm.
newer plans that, just a disconnect, so,
That was part of the architect's, obviously, you said.
yeah.
so it's compliant to the FEMA AE, whatever. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, because
Okay.
it's crooked. It's not
Anything else?
parallel.
Anybody else? No? I think that, I think we have everything we need. Okay, so if you don't have anything else to add, we'll just, is that your final answer? Huh? Okay, so we'll, I think that, we can go ahead and, like to make a motion, we close the hearing for a decision.
Second.
Good? Okay. we're good
Thank
to
you
go,
all.
Guys, thank you very much.
Greatly appreciate it.
Well, you just haven't seen the decision yet.
Just closing it is
Just closing it
good.
is good, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I've been in the business and it sounds good.
I did.
Dan seconded, I'm sorry. Hang on. All three of us approved the closing of it. The Woodland, you want to just take a minute and tell us where you're at?
So I spoke with the owner,
Yeah.
and basically, he agrees to adjust the survey to what the contractor originally presented, which my understanding was that was what we were aiming for to begin with. And he agreed to do that, to keep the same size of the pool,
So you're
So-
gonna, you're gonna move it back 3 feet, so you can have a conforming side
move it
yard.
back 3 feet.
So you're back with the
But
only
just
request
adjust-
being the 1%,
So,
lot coverage.
right, so the only issue was the coverage, and that was it.
Okay.
Okay, so can you have that adjusted survey in before the next meeting? Like
Absolutely, it
10
should be
10
no
days
problem.
before?
It should be within a week or so, I would imagine.
So what I'm gonna suggest, Jerry, is because the record was closed with the old survey, if you could, one of the board members would be willing to make a motion to reopen the hearing for one limited purpose, which is to allow them to submit a revised survey that conforms to the 20-foot setback, and then close it subject to that. That would allow them to add that to the record.
And then we'd have the decision.
And then we
for
could have the
next month?
decision at the next meeting,
Okay.
okay?
All right, good.
Okay.
I'd like to make that motion, that we go ahead and reopen this hearing for the purpose of getting that survey to show the conformity that we're looking for. If we can get that done in a relatively short period of time, we could have a decision at the next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Jimmy? Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
And then it would be reclosed subject to that receipt of that survey,
Okay,
okay?
all right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Whoever draws it up, just water's edge. Hopefully we don't count it.
So I make a motion, we close that for this. Second. Well,
Yep.
okay, good. All in favor, we're good. All right. We didn't forget about you, Heather. Come on up. All right. Lloyd and Sarah Jarkow, 5 Lake Way, applicant seeks variances to construct a new dwelling and accessory structures from 197-6D for proposed front yard setback of 43.4 feet, where the minimum was 50 feet, and 197-6D for proposed rear yard setback of 44.9, where the minimum required is 50 feet, and from 19735A for proposed accessory pool and deck to be located in the side yard where prohibited.
Evening, members of the board. Heather Wright for the applicant for the property at 5 Lake Way. As you noted, this property is on the south side of Lake Way off of Meadow Lane. It's 40,000 square feet in the R1 zoning district, and it's currently improved with an existing two-story single-family dwelling, garage, tennis court, pool, and deck. The existing lot coverage on this property is 42.4%. So I want to give you, these are updated surveys, existing and proposed. The only change is the lot coverage. We had some problems with the surveyor in that he calculated the lot coverage incorrectly. He didn't include the tennis court, and it took a while to get him to properly revise the survey. So the proposed setbacks that we're asking for have not changed, but I wanted to get you accurate lot coverage calculations for existing and proposed. So if you just want to. I think it was really messy before what you had, so I wanted you to be able to see it in color, clear. What we're proposing to do is demolish the existing structures and construct a new single-family dwelling, pool, and garage. We are proposing to remove the existing tennis court and not replace it. So that tennis court was permitted pursuant to a November 21st, 1980 variance decision that allowed the tennis court in the side and rear yard, and a rear yard setback of 44 feet for the pool and deck. The existing house, if you've been by there, is in poor condition, doesn't comply with FEMA, and there are some challenges to this lot with the location of the wetlands and the non-disturbance DEC buffer that is imposed on the property. So like I said, we're proposing to construct a new residence, pool and deck, and reorient the dwelling so that it faces west. And so if I were to go, well, let me point this out first. We don't believe that the proposed construction will have a negative effect on the character of the neighborhood. Essentially, what we're doing is reorienting a similarly sized dwelling in a similar footprint to what currently exists now. So like I said, we're removing the tennis court and significantly reducing the lot coverage. We're increasing our septic setback. So right now, the existing setback is, I'll say approximately 88 feet. I don't have the exact measurement, but it's approximately 88 feet from the wetlands, and now we're going to meet the 100-foot setback. We're going to be removing the curb cut that's to the east. So that's where a lot of water pools on the property, and there's significant flooding. So we're moving the driveway to the west. Obviously, the home will comply with FEMA. And I thought it would be helpful if you had this chart, which shows the two variances that we're requesting, and really no significant difference between what is existing and what we're proposing. So for the front yard, the existing is 44.1 feet, and we're proposing 43.4. And for the rear yard, it's existing 41.0 feet, and we're increasing that, and that's measured from the garage, to 44.9 feet. As you can see, we're not asking for side yard or total side yard relief. And I put the numbers for the tennis court on the chart because I think it is impactful in that it shows the significant nonconformities that exist with the location of the tennis court. So it's only 6.1 feet from the rear, it's 8.1 feet from the westerly side, it's 35.5 feet from the front, and it's very close to the wetlands at 4.6 feet. And like I said, that's not going to be replaced. So whether the benefit can be sought by another feasible alternative, the answer to that is no, because even as the home exists now in its current orientation, it does not meet the front and rear yard setbacks. And if you take a look at this overlay that I did, my art skills are not great. You can see that it's pretty much in the same location as the existing house, and then the red line sort of denotes the location of the the wetlands surrounding the home, because we did explore a couple different, we tried to find alternatives to see if we could decrease the request to the board, but we really had to design the house around the septic. So to meet that 100-foot setback for the location of the septic, we were really constrained with where we could put the rest of the improvements. So we were able to move the driveway to the west of the proposed septic system, which meets the 100-foot setback. And then we have the entrance, we have the driveway running down the westerly side of the property to where the location of the garage is. And then, and since the dwelling is now facing the west, obviously we reoriented the garage location to also be in that location. I would argue that the variance requests are not substantial in that the relief is similar to the existing setbacks on the home, and we're making significant, and it's outweighed, any substantiality is outweighed by the significant improvements that we're proposing with respect to the environment and the new septic, the FEMA compliance, the removal of the tennis court, and then obviously it will not have a negative impact. It'll in fact have a positive impact on the character of the neighborhood. So if you have any questions.
I think the big thing here, you're getting rid of that tennis court, huh?
Yes.
It's gonna be a lot more compliant
Well,
house.
It's reducing the lot coverage from that 42.4% to 19.1%.
Is there any existing drainage, or is this all new?
It's all new drainage, new French drain system.
Is it gonna have to get a fill permit? Yeah, but
Have to get a what?
is it safe to say it's all improvements? A lot of improvements?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the reasons for the location of the
scary
septic
lot
system,
right now.
where it is going, instead of moving it further back, is so that we could avoid bringing in significant fill and the installation of retaining walls.
They're proposing the Caltex drainage field, which is a smaller profile, so it doesn't look like a retaining wall, but we won't know until we engineer. So
Right.
we're done with this board and the engineer. Yeah, it seems like a vast improvement over what's there.
And just front and rear yard setbacks, the side yards are fine.
Correct.
And then putting a pool in the side yard, with the way you configure the house, is kind of in the rear of the house,
Correct.
but not the rear of the property because it's on Lake Way.
Correct. And the
Yeah.
square footage that's I think it's approximately 442 square feet of the pool and deck, which would technically be in the side yard, but given the orientation of the house, there really is no other location to put it. And it's actually better, when you look at the aerial photograph that we included in the submission, the other homes also face west, so it's sort of consistent with how those homes are designed.
This would be a nice improvement to that neighborhood.
I think so.
Yeah, really nice. I think we cover everything, let's see.
Will they be landscaping the north side to, given that the pool is now kind of like right in front of the neighbor across the street?
I'm sure they will, and we don't have a landscaping plan yet, but I'm sure that they will invest in appropriate landscaping, to shelter whatever needs to be.
I don't have any other questions.
Yeah.
Questions, comments? Brad, anything? Audience? Oh, nobody's left. Just us. Thank you, Heather. I think that, looking at this, I just don't have any questions.
Okay,
A lot of work went into this one,
that works.
so.
Have you gone to the DEC yet, or
The applications and,
it's pending?
yeah, depending.
Okay,
All right,
let's make a motion to close this for a decision.
Second.
Second by Jim.
Aye.
Aye is Dan. We're all set, Megan. Thank you.
great, thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. This is some layout, huh?
Yeah. Nice job. Nice job.
What's that?
It's amazing work.
Yeah, really. Good. Have a good night. I'll make a motion to go ahead and close tonight's meeting.
Second.
Second by Dan, we're all in favor.